On the news tonight, President Bola Tinubu reaffirms Nigeria's commitment to supporting the United Nations effort on maintaining global peace and security. Senate confirms appointment of Justice Kudirat Kekereekun as Chief Justice of Nigeria. Lagos State Deputy Governor advocates more youth participation towards proffering solutions to Nigeria's challenges. Israel calls off reserve brigades to carry out new waves of extensive strikes in Lebanon amid displacement of over 90,000 people. Join us in a moment for details. Good evening. Welcome to the news at 8 on Lagos Television. I am Yetunde Oladoton Amao. President Bola Tinubu has called on the world leaders to recommit to multilateralism by deepening relations among member states of the United Nations in line with the principles of inclusivity, equality, and cooperation. This, he said, will guarantee global action against existential challenges faced by the international community. President Tinubu is the chairman of the Authority of Heads of State and Government of the Economic Community of West African States, made the call while addressing world leaders during the general debate of the ongoing 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York, United States. Represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, the president decried the steep descent to singularity and nationalism, which according to him are undermining the quest for peaceful and collective resolution of global challenges.
And national progress. Process of corruption and illicit financial flows constitute a huge chunk of resources needed for sustainable development. The recovery and return of such funds to states of origin is a fundamental principle of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. Therefore, the international community must promote practical measures to strengthen international cooperation to recover and return stolen assets and to eradicate safe havens that facilitate illicit flows of funds from developing countries to the developed economies.
The Vice President also indicated Nigeria's interest in hosting the African Central Bank, maintaining that Africa has come of age to do so. Meanwhile, Nigeria has solicited the support of Finland in its pursuit of a permanent seat at the United Nations Security Council. Vice President Kashim Shettima, who appealed for Finland's support, said Nigeria remains a superforce in Africa and will do all within its reach to close cultural links and ties in the effort to reunite the economic community of West African states and further leave no stone unturned in the quest to stabilize Africa. Speaking during the meeting with President of the Republic of Finland, Alexander Stubb, on the sidelines of the ongoing 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York, Vice President Shettima said the support becomes necessary given Finland's role as an European and NATO member and considering the role Nigeria played over the years in entrenching democratic values and peaceful cohesion. President Stubb of Finland expressed support for the expansion and reconstruction of the UN Security Council, saying the dictates and dynamics of the modern world demand such change. Nigeria indicated interest in the UN Security Council seat following calls for reforms and expansion of the Council by some UN member countries. The House of Representatives says it will hold a legislative security summit in the last quarter of this year. Speaker Abbas Tajuddin stated this while welcoming lawmakers from their annual recess. The Speaker said legislative reforms that could improve interagency collaboration and use of technology to combat insecurity will be prioritized in the remaining session of the 10th Assembly. He said the Electoral Offences Commission bill is one of the bills that will receive priority attention in the Assembly. Honorable Abbas sympathized with the victims of flooding and assured that the House will improve legislation to address environmental challenges, including disaster relief bill.
Environment.
The Senate has confirmed Justice Kudirat Kekereekun as the substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria. Justice Kekereekun's confirmation followed a request from President Bola Tinubu. The Senate suspended its rules to allow her answer questions on various judicial matters during the confirmation exercise.
The court can invite, or even the agency can discipline a senior lawyer who is fond of sitting down to analyze cases that are yet to be decided upon on television, in social media and all that. I think it will serve as a deterrent.
When we are talking about the integrity of the judiciary, it involves not only the take-home pay, it also involves infrastructure that we are working with. What is available? Is it conducive? These are all things that have an effect on how the judiciary performs and what so.
Kekereekun emphasized the importance of maintaining judicial integrity and adhering to ethical standards, noting that there should be limits to cases that will get to the Supreme Court, particularly pre-election matters. She stressed that such cases should conclude at the Court of Appeal, while highlighting the need for timely handling of petitions by the National Judicial Council. Justice Kekereekun also called for measures to insulate the judiciary from external influences.
Of the judiciary is maintained, I will ensure that the code of conduct is fully complied with. I will ensure that there is zero tolerance for corruption.
Will the Senate approve the nomination for confirmation of Honorable Justice Kudirat Kekereekun for appointment as Chief Justice of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Kudirat Kekereekun has been an acting Chief Justice of Nigeria since August 23rd, following the retirement of Justice Kayode Ariwoola. Here in Lagos, the State Deputy Governor, Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, has re-emphasized the need to educate Nigerian youth on issues and challenges so that they can also be solution providers. He made this known during a symposium in Lagos. Correspondent Olubukola Akikoliosho reports.
The youth make up a sizable amount of the population and are in no small measure contributing to the development of the nation. The youth in Lagos State form part of decision makers who have carved a niche for themselves in every sector of the economy. Speaking at this symposium, the Lagos State Deputy Governor, Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, who is also the keynote speaker, is charging organizations to hold seminars and educate youth on how to proffer solutions to challenges in the nation.
Why the emphasis on the youth? Simple. Their music rules the world. They are top sports stars. They are the heart of our beat to give our culture the boost that it deserves. They are also leading the battle to explore our state tourism potentials. They are full of talents, and we need them to actually sustain this country.
He advises organizations to leverage on technology to attract the youth.
Technology is changing the way everybody does business. It should be given priority in the way we also relax. We really do not have any choice, considering the fact that AI is here, artificial intelligence, and we know how it's changing lives. I said it because young and not so young people enjoy ease and freedom to achieve objectives with little or no inconveniences whatsoever. Technology drives the passion of youth. Young people have a role to play in positioning this elite club for the modern age.
This symposium is part of activities marking Ikoyi Club's 86th anniversary.
Repositioning for the modern age.
Akin Kolusho, LTV News.
The Lagos State Government, through its Office of Disability Affairs, has again appealed to parents and caregivers of people with disabilities to complement its effort. This goal was renewed at the Stakeholders Forum with service providers in Lagos State. Olajumoke Oyewumi tells us more.
This meeting, another initiative of the Lagos State Office for Disability Affairs, LASODA, to equip parents and caregivers of people living with disabilities with knowledge and skills to ensure their well-being, is tagged Management of the Home, Ensuring Protection of Children with Disabilities. To address critical issues relating to catering for the needs of affected people in both private and government homes, this forum also had strategies that will ensure people with disabilities are able to function, participate in society, and live fulfilling lives discussed.
Managing a home for a child with disabilities requires additional thought, planning, and unwavering commitment. It must be a space where they are shielded from external challenges, a haven where their abilities are nurtured, their differences celebrated, where their self-esteem and confidence are constantly built. Dear stakeholders, I believe we can all agree on the importance of instilling these values in our children early on to help them grow into self-reliant, confident, and well-rounded individuals.
Stakeholders, we all have important roles to play in providing a conducive environment and give adequate support. So government, practitioners, civil societies must continue to advocate for inclusive policies and opportunities for them at all levels.
Participants were enlightened on legal implications of mishandling people with disabilities and information to safeguard their rights.
Hasn't got disability. There's no human being who hasn't got one. Some are more obvious than others. And therefore, I think it is morally wrong for us to discriminate against anybody who has any form of disability.
Make sure that you have some staff that will be taking video of them. If there are many and you are doing another job, they can kidnap one or two. Is it not a problem? But when you plan it well, you don't have, outsider doesn't have access to them.
And it has become more apparent and absolutely necessary for us to speak about our current realities, especially when it comes to the safety of our children in their care.
Participants commended this initiative as they said it will go a long way to prioritize the welfare and access of children with disabilities to quality life. Olajumoke Oyewumi, LTV News.
Medical consultants and health personnel have continued their advocacy on sexual and gender-based violence, enlightening residents on its negative impact. They advise residents to report any form of violence, noting the treatment of victims with sexual and gender-based violence is free in all state-owned medical facilities. Our Ikorodu Bureau Chief, Adeshegun Iga, reports.
Sexual and gender-based violence.
From markets to schools and patients within the hospital facility, the advocacy unit and management of the General Hospital Ijede are on an enlightenment campaign to sensitize people of the area on the negative effects and severe consequences on perpetrators of sexual and gender-based violence, SGBV.
This month has been earmarked to celebrate the activities of the Lagos State government in respect of gender-based violence by going out to sensitize the public about various forms of gender-based violations and to enlighten the public about how they can seek redress.
They note that the sensitization on SGBV is a collective responsibility in creating a safe environment for everyone.
The campaign is all about saying no to rape, to any form of sexual and gender-based violence. We want to tell them that they can come to us at any time, that they are safe with us, regardless of age, regardless of gender, regardless of tribe, that any form of sexual or gender-based violence, we are saying no to them.
Sexual and gender-based violence is a lot of problem in our society today, and it's causing a lot of trouble in homes, and this should not be allowed to be continued. Many of the factors that we experience today is one of the reasons why it's very common. Many people are not able to feed the family. Many people are not satisfied with what they are going through. There are a lot of stress over everywhere, and that is why many homes are not settled.
Support services such as rescue operations, medical assistance and counseling are provided with no cost implication by all general hospitals in the state for victims of this offensive act.
So that is why Lagos State government is very particular about this issue. And Lagos State government is doing everything to support gender-based violent victims and also doing everything to actually prevent it. And, bring people to book, people that are the villains that perpetrate such acts. Lagos State is doing its best to bring such people to book so that they can serve as deterrents against such reoccurrences.
Hence, changing social norms is key in making sustained action to prevent and respond to gender-based violence. Adesegun Igor, LTV News.
Still ahead. Academic Staff Union of Universities threatens strike, issues 14-day ultimatum to federal government. That's in a moment. Please stay with us. Academic Staff Union of Universities have issued a 14-day ultimatum to the federal government to resolve some lingering issues. ASU President Emmanuel Osodeke says the body is seeking the conclusion of the negotiation of the 2009 agreement based on the NIMI BRICS Committee's draft agreement of 2021. The union also demanded the release of withheld salaries over the 2022 industrial action and expressed frustration with government's lack of commitment and delayed tactics. It stated that these actions were generating crisis in the public university system. ASU is also demanding the release of unpaid salaries for staff on sabbatical, part-time and adjunct appointment affected by the integrated payroll and personnel information system and the payment of outstanding third-party deductions such as check-up dues and cooperatives contributions. It adds that it wants funding for the revitalization of public universities, partly captured in the 2023 federal government budget, and the payment of earned academic allowances, partly captured in the 2023 federal government budget. Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has adjourned the alleged money laundering case filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission against the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, until October 30. The adjournment came as Bello moved to the Supreme Court to file an appeal seeking to set aside the arrest warrant issued by the trial court on April 17. Counsel to Bello Adoyi drew the court's attention to the fact that the issue of arraignment of the defendant was the subject matter of an appeal already entered by him at the Supreme Court. He asked that the appropriate thing to do was to wait for the decision of the Supreme Court in the aforesaid appeal before taking any step for arraignment, so as not to render the appeal null or to pull the rug out of the feet of the Supreme Court. Counsel to Bello, however, urged that the issue of the matter slated for arraignment was subject to an appeal by the defendant at the Supreme Court. He urged that the court should wait the decision of the Supreme Court on the issue in the interests of justice. And the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Olanrewaju Ishola, says operatives of the command have arrested over 90 suspects for different crimes. The police boss revealed this while parading the suspects. Maugbe Josu tells us more.
Having assumed office on September 17, 2024, as the 40th Commissioner of Police, Lagos State, Olanrewaju Ishola is here to highlight security achievements in the state.
We are decided to make Lagos Police people-friendly, in which case we'll make people to trust us based on our performances, based on how we relate our things to them. The slogan, police is your friend, it's not just an acronym. We put it into practice.
Ishola disclosed that the crimes ranged from armed robbery, kidnapping, conspiracy, illegal possession of hard drugs and firearms, to cultism.
A 21-year-old girl was kidnapped with a ransom of 10 million naira placed on her head. The operatives of my command swung into action. We arrested one Hassan Samson, age 35, one Emeka Chibike, age 26, and Shegun Akinyola, age 32, in the other in Badagry. 23rd of September 2024 at about 0700 hours in the morning. Our operatives noticed suspicious movements around Charlie Boy area or Joki. We sighted a woman in distress and we promptly attended to her. One Chibuke and Charles were arrested. One Toyota Camry car and a sum of $402 taken from the victim were recovered from them.
The Lagos CP also urged residents to continue supporting security operatives to curb criminal activities in the state. Maugbe Josu, LTV News.
The Lagos State Government, through its Pilgrims Welfare Board, has held a seminar for its operations staff ahead of the forthcoming pilgrimage to Jerusalem. Board Secretary Yetunde Gbafe assures of government intention to ensure a hitch-free exercise. We have details in this report.
Ahead of the year 2024 pilgrimage to the city of Jerusalem, the Lagos State Government, through its State Pilgrims Welfare Board, has organized this seminar to prepare its operations staff for the task ahead in the forthcoming exercise. While assuring participants of a hitch-free exercise, they were also enlightened on the requirements and their conduct during the exercise, with emphasis to be good ambassadors of the state and Nigeria.
They are the ones that are like the engine room of the pilgrimage, and we have actually engaged them. We've given them the vision and the mission of the board, so that they themselves will be carried along and they will perform optimally when they are in the Holy Land.
They are going there to represent Christian body in Lagos State, and they're also going there to represent our family. That is why it is more penitent, very important for them to be a good ambassador, because whatever they do, whatever they say, they will see them as Nigeria and those that come from Lagos.
My advice for them is to take full advantage of this workshop that they are being taken on. Make sure they compel themselves very well, be good ambassador of Lagos State, and ensure that they focus essentially on the purpose of the pilgrimage.
To get set, to prepare, both physical and spiritual, and to let them know what is forbidden, what they cannot do over there. They cannot take from Nigeria to that place, and what they cannot take from that place to Nigeria. So we're just telling them the do's and the don'ts, and also to prepare them, both physical and spiritual, to know the purpose of going and the meaning of going.
The ongoing crisis in Jerusalem, the board says, is not a cause for concern, as the state government has reassured participants that the city is safe and pilgrims are guaranteed maximum security.
So the crisis in Israel has not impacted Jerusalem to the extent of saying they cannot conduct the 2024 pilgrimage. So Jerusalem is safe for our people to go to, and I'm sure the government of Israel, knowing the enormity of what the pilgrimage is all about, is doing everything possible to make sure that they have a peaceful pilgrimage.
There are some areas we may advise not to go, either it is peaceful or not. We go to where, after taking them, they'll be able to carry them back without any challenges. But as at now, where we used to visit today is very, very peaceful.
Participants were further advised to take full advantage of the workshop as they embark on the spiritual exercise.
The Lagos State government has intensified its policy of boosting the tourism sector through preservation of tradition and culture. This came up during a tour of some heritage sites in the Ikorodu division. Our bureau chief, Adeshegun Igap, reports.
First is a collaborative meeting with traditional rulers and stakeholders in the Ikorodu division, where the Commissioner for Tourism, Arts and Culture, Toke Benson Awoyinka, informed that the state government has approved the Lagos Yoruba Heritage Week, an annual event that will showcase the rich culture, tradition and language of the Center of Excellence.
We're going to do a compendium of all the heritage sites, the monuments and all the festivals that happen in Ikorodu. Our main aim as a government and a ministry is to calendarize our tourism events, and in calendarizing the tourism events, we need to know when those festivals would be. We need to have those trails registered with international organizations like UNESCO and let the whole world know what is happening. Our heritage, our culture is what we really are, and we want to sell that to the world.
The traditional rulers call for inclusivity to ensuring all perspectives are properly documented. The commissioner and her team toured some monumental sites, including Iledio Shugbo Abalaye, founded in 1630, the ancient palace Afin Oloja, the Igbo Oshin Shrine, amongst others.
To celebrate Yoruba culture, Yoruba heritage, Yoruba as a people, Yoruba as a nation, what we stand for, what we eat, our food, our music, our clothing, our fashion, everything that makes us Yoruba. We want to celebrate it in Lagos because we want to have that notion to let the whole world know that Lagos is where we are from. We don't have any other place but Lagos, and people need to realize that some people are from here. And we host every other tribe, every other nation, and we also want them to respect us for who we are, respect our heritage, respect our culture, respect our language. Everything that we do should be respected.
The commissioner affirmed the state government's commitment in preserving the cultural and historical heritage of Lagos.
Normally we read about these things in books. We want to capture it so that we can teach our children. We want to let our children know what our heritage is, what our culture is, and if not now, when then?
It's a long awaited decision and visit. So we are waiting. We are ready, and we've been to some of the sites.
No doubt that digging deep into the culture and history of Lagos is to revamp and archive right information while embracing local-driven economic growth. Adeshegun Igap, LTV News.
The management of Lagos State Public Service Staff Service Development Center, Magodo, paid a courtesy visit to Lagos Television to create awareness and seek partnership about the center's upcoming 30th anniversary of developing an effective public service in Lagos State. Olajumoke Oyewumi reports.
Addressing LTV management staff headed by its general manager, Shola Kosoko, on the purpose of this visit, the Director General, Lagos State Public Service Staff Development Center, Adekunmilola Adio Moses, says is to officially meet with the station's management and intimate them on the lineup of activities for the center's 30th anniversary coming up on October 6th, 2024.
30 years of a very interesting journey. A journey of learning, but also a journey of success in many ramifications. We are pleased at the work that our predecessors have done over the years. They've laid a very solid foundation for learning and development, for professionalism, and for creating a 360-degree opportunity for people to learn and to grow and develop.
He also sees the opportunity to intimate LTV management on some notable achievements by the center.
And we are hoping that Mr. Governor will do us the honor of, coming to launch the project himself. On the list, we have the virtual learning platforms, and we are looking forward to the launch of that platform on the 4th of October. Also, this digital studio required to digitize the courses to be put on the platform is also owned by the Ministry of Establishments and Training under PSSDC, in the hands of PSSDC.
General Manager, Lagos Television, Sholako Soko, congratulates the team for the success so far and assured them of total support.
Well, I want to say well done, because in the last few months I've seen a turnaround at the PSSDC. We had a long conversation the last time we were at the House of Assembly. So I knew something was coming. So I'm not surprised that we're having this meeting. I know that there's been some improvements, some changes. One of the things I was waiting for you to mention was the fact that you have space for accommodation that a lot of people don't know.
True.
I know that this meeting is going to bring forth a very good relationship. We're here for you. We will be part of your 30th anniversary. We will also be part of what you're going to be doing even after the anniversary.
Lagos State Public Service Staff Development Center is an agency of the state government saddled with the mission to provide human capacity solutions through learning and development initiatives. Olajumoke Oyewumi, LTV News.
Coming up, federal government considers national identification number registration for foreigners to boost tax payments. That's on Business News. Join us again.
Do you know that as a viewer, you have the right to complain about any broadcast content or conduct of Lagos Television you are not pleased about? For any of such complaints, call or SMS Director Programs on 00333-44915, Director News 003-696-2772, or Head Marketing 0022829898, or any of our social media handles. Lagos Television, the voice of Lagos.
On Business News tonight.
An executive bill seeking to amend the National Identity Management Commission Act is set to be forwarded by President Bola Tinubu to the National Assembly. The bill seeks to provide that everybody living in Nigeria, including foreigners, must be registered and given the national identity number so that they can be taxed. The Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, disclosed this while briefing State House correspondents at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, alongside the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Digital Strategy, Engagement and Communications, Otega Ogra. Ononuga said the economic stabilization bills, which are about 20 in number, also includes bills to amend the Act establishing the Nigerian Port Authority and the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency. According to him, the two bills seek to ensure transactions by the two agencies are paid for in Naira. He said the decision is part of measures by Tinubu's administration to promote the national currency and reduce the dollarization of Nigeria's economy. This is part of the economic stabilization bills approved during the Federal Executive Council meeting. Data shows that Africa loses $88.6 billion to illicit financial flows annually. Oftentimes, these money laundering and financing of terrorism are increasing in sophistication, inherently transnational, linked to organized crime, posing threat to consumers, businesses, as well as governments.
Money laundering and terrorist financing pose considerable threats to global peace and security, as well as destabilizing political and financial systems.
Understanding the trends and patterns and the process of legitimizing proceeds of crime to disguise illicit origins is why these people from organized private sectors and business community are here.
People commit crime through corruption, through stealing, through theft, through drugs, and finding all kinds of means to launder the proceeds of this crime. And sometimes they go to the business owners. They can go to, for instance, insurance company and put money as a policy. When they find out that nobody is looking into that, they take their money back. Sometimes they can put it in the capital markets as investments or as buying stocks or buying shares after they pull their money back. They can put it in business, small businesses to support the businesses. We call this co-mingling. That means there's a legitimate business going on. Money launderer invests his money in it. After he found out the coast is clear, he gets his money back.
Experts advocate due diligence and acceptable standards that can be adopted to mitigate this menace.
Individual and corporate entity must ensure they carry out a risk assessment of their environment, where they operate and what they do.
One thing is to identify the vulnerability. Then two is to put measures. One of the measures we are putting is to automate the transaction of our members, putting automation into place, taking into consideration recording of transaction, and then know your customer, customer due diligence, and then complying with rendition of returns to Central Bank of Nigeria.
We have what we call trade groups. We have occasional meetings with the leaderships of the trade groups where we send out messages that they send out to their members. And also we have quarterly council meetings and what we call General Assembly.
We've seen that there are some level of effectiveness. It is not where it ought to be. So you'll find those gaps, and that is why Nigeria, you will hear that they say Nigeria is on what they call grey list, which is the ICRG. We call it International Cooperation Review Group. That means the country must improve on those identified gaps. Those gaps are identified in the report. It is published, and Nigeria is working towards addressing those gaps.
The grey listing of Nigeria and inclusion on a high-risk jurisdiction for anti-money laundering is a concern. Hopefully, this seminar by GIABA will help participants identify, adopt strategies and technologies, as well as promote well-regulated financing systems and services that will tackle money laundering and terrorist financing in Nigeria. Joshua Murakinyo, LTV News, Lagos.
Sports Minister Senator John Enoh today inaugurated a 7-member committee to investigate the negative exposures the country was subjected to at the 2024 Paris Olympics and Paralympics Games. Inaugurating the committee at the Media Center of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, the minister stated that as part of the terms of reference, the committee should revisit the issues which exposed the nation inappropriately, including that of Favor Ofili and Ese Okparese of cycling. The committee was also mandated to wade into the doping issues surrounding some of the athletes at the Olympics and Paralympics, the contract agreement between Activate Black Company and the Nigeria Olympic Committee, code of conduct amongst Team Nigeria members, and others. In carrying out the assignment, Senator Enoh charged the committee to be firm, diligent, professional, and apportion blame no matter who is involved, adding that a major reason for constituting a committee devoid of any affiliation with the Sport Ministry Federation and other key players during the Games.
It is possible for Nigeria to attend a world competition devoid of benefits. It is possible. And the ministry is going to continue to work hard every moment, every day, to make sure that this happens. And this is why the ministry is demonstrating this commitment by this committee that has put together. And when I look at the membership of this committee, I find people that are whose integrity you cannot question.
The minister stated that, in the past, such matters were swept under the carpet, but under his leadership, the nation deserves to get to the root of the matter to prevent future recurrence. He expressed confidence in the ability of the committee to get the job done, since members of the committee were men and women of honor and integrity.
But after this inauguration, you need to get back and get yourselves ready. You need to elicit responses and all of that before you schedule your sittings. Okay, you need to do all of that. But we need this report as quickly as is possible, not beyond the next 1 month.
Chairman of the committee, Dr. Mumuni Alao, thanked the minister for the opportunity to serve the nation. He assured him that they would approach the assignment with commitment, adding that the committee would not disappoint the nation.
And without any prejudice to what we have been hearing, because as the Honorable Minister rightly said, he has responded to some of the issues that he's asking us to investigate. But these issues still keep coming back, which means the public is not satisfied with the explanation by the Honorable Minister. Now he is transferring that responsibility to this committee. It was the one that was at fault. Committee, please tell Nigerians. And that's what we're going to do.
Other members of the committee are Aliyu Mohammed, representing Northwest, Ajia Rakia Mohammed, North Central, Godwin Enakena, South, Dr. Abubakar Ango, Northeast, Nene Akudo, Southeast, and Barrister Victor Okagbe, South as the committee secretary. Manchester City have confirmed that Spain midfielder Rodri suffered a knee ligament injury against Arsenal on Sunday. Rodri was substituted in the 21st minute after he twisted. Guardiola described the 20-year-old as irreplaceable. City have not lost in the last 48 Premier League matches in which he has started, but the manager says he will find a solution in his absence. City were beaten in 4 out of the 5 games Rodri missed last season, while he has lost just once in 50 appearances in all competitions. He was also named Players of the Tournament as Spain won Euro 2024 in July and is one of the favourites to win the Ballon d'Or next month. Fielders.
On entertainment news tonight, Asake joined Davido and Wizkid in making O2 Arena history. Following the release of his third album, Lungu Boy, Asake embarked on a world tour where he headlined notable Grammy winner Wizkid and actor Idris Elba were some of the stars present at Asake's O2 Arena concerts. The British actor presented Asake with a sold-out plate and the Brit Silver plate for his album Walk of Art. With his latest feat of selling out the 20,000 capacity O2 Arena, Asake joins fellow Afrobeat stars Davido and Wizkid as Nigerians who have sold out the O2 Arena more than once. Asake's first sold out the iconic venue in 2023, following the release of his album Walk of Art in a moment that announced his global ascension. O2 Arena is a notable venue that has documented Afrobeat's global rise. Davido made history in 2018 when he became the first Nigerian solo act to headline the O2 Arena. Wizkid also headlined the O2 Arena as a solo artist in 2019 before returning to the venue for a historic 3 consecutive nights in 2021.
On the foreign scene, Israel is calling up 2 additional reserve brigades to its northern borders as it continues its massive bombing campaign across Lebanon, killing hundreds of people and displacing more than 90,000. Foreign ministers of Egypt, Iraq and Jordan condemned Israel's aggression against Lebanon, warning that it is pushing the region towards an all-out war. At least 41,495 people have been killed and over 96,000 wounded in Israel's war on Gaza. Over 1,000 people have been killed in the Hamas-led attacks since October 7, while more than 200 people were taken captive. Let's take a look at tomorrow's weather forecast. Before we end the news tonight, a recap of our major stories. President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to supporting the United Nations efforts to maintain global peace and security, and has sought the permanent seat in the United Nations Security Council. The Senate has confirmed the appointment of Justice Kudiratu Kekere-Ekun as Chief Justice of Nigeria. The Lagos State Deputy Governor, Obafemi Hamzat, has advocated for more youth participation towards preferring solutions to national challenges. On the foreign scene, we told you that Israel has called up reserve brigades to carry out new waves of extensive strikes in Lebanon amid the displacement of over 90,000 people. For more news, please connect with Lagos Television on these social media platforms. Kindness is one thing you cannot give away. It always comes back to you. Please remember to call Lagos toll-free lines 7670112 in case of emergencies. Thank you for watching the news at 8 on Lagos Television. On behalf of everyone, we wish you a wonderful night rest.